You're listening to Faith, Relationship, and Community Podcast, where we talk about all things faith, relationship, and community. My name is Noah. I'm the lead pastor of Morningside Lutheran Church. Today, I sit down with Mark, our Director of Connections Ministries, as we talk about the future coming up and the exciting things that we have for our volunteer ministry. So we want to kind of capture what you do and your experience, what you're passionate about, have been passionate about, and bringing here. And so I guess start there. Just talk about your life of ministry in the last 40 plus ministry years.
It's been a journey. So. Some things happen I never expected, which is kind of fun. Yeah. I have a short attention span, so that's a bonus.
That's right, you do.
So I started in 1980. Actually, you know, when I was at the University of Northern Iowa, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. So I applied to a PhD program at the University of Iowa with a guy named George Farrell. And I was accepted, but they wouldn't pay me to go there. And I took that as a great offense. And so I said, no, thanks, I'm not coming. But now what do? I was working at Kmart. I could have joined the manager training program.
Yeah? Thought about it?
Or go to seminary.
Why'd you go to seminary? It's just manager training. I mean, Kmart, that's pretty good.
Because they pay me.
Yeah, right.
My home congregation paid for my tuition.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, it doesn't get any better than that, right? Yeah. And so I kind of backed into the whole shooting match. But, you know, at some point I got kicked out of my youth group, and I just thought there's got to be a better way to do church.
I feel like that's an initiation to being a pastor. You got to have
maybe.
that kind of, that's right. Yeah.
It's a weird one. But, so when I got into seminary, I thought, well, this is pretty fascinating. And I had a psychology and philosophy double major at UNI. And so a lot of the things were very, very helpful and really kind of put my mind at ease in terms of sorting some things out about the world and how it works. But then I was a youth director in the Minneapolis area, and I'm dealing with kids. You know, I'm a kid from a small town in Iowa. Yeah. And I'm in a big city with these kids who have a very different life. Right. And a lot of that life involved around drugs. So I thought, well, I should learn something about that. And so I started a certificate program at the University of Minnesota and at night. Yeah. And so many of the things that they were talking about are things that I was hearing during the day at seminary, like the reality of sin and human brokenness and the battles we face and addiction. And I remember one night there are like 300 people in this class, and this professor in a chemical dependency program is saying, you know, it looks like from an anthropological point of view, every culture ever studied in human history has always reached out something to worship and something to change their mood.
Interesting.
I thought, well, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, this makes a lot of sense. So I was excited about that program, and it had a lot to do with counseling style and manner and human interaction. And I was really impressed with it. And then they canceled the program. I had 30 of 31 credits of the certificate program.
No way.
Yeah, and I transferred those to 6. Yeah. At St. Mary's College, they had a campus in Minneapolis for a master's in counseling. So I completed that, and the blessing part was that my congregations, both Montevideo and St. Cloud, were paying for my education.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
In addition to seminary. And
what a way for a church to just bless a future leader of the church.
Well, plus with an education that really mattered. Yeah. I mean, you and I, we deal with people, sin and brokenness every day. Yeah. And in our own lives as well. And so this is just a powerful tool that the church really at large helped me to acquire. I didn't know that was fascinating. And then I left St. Cloud, where they gave me a credit card. We had 2 symphonies, orchestras. We had this massive adult choir, PhD professors leading all this stuff from St. Cloud State University. I left that to go to Altoona, Iowa, where there were 74 angry and divided people.
Right,
And I thought...
And what year was that?
That was in 1990.
Okay, 1990.
10 years in Minnesota. Thank God the best thing came out of Minnesota, Interstate 35.
Yeah, there you go.
And dropped right down into Des Moines Metro.
Yep.
And it was like moving from a corporate experience to starting my own business.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but But I began to meet these people, and I discovered this is where God has meant me to be.
Yeah.
And everything I've gone through has trained me for this moment.
Yeah.
So then along about 1989, a guy called me up from Des Moines, another pastor, and he said, "Do you know what the denomination's doing?" I said, "No, and I don't care." He said, "Well, you need to care."
Yeah.
So then I jumped into an organization called Word Alone, which was a kind of a reform movement within the denomination that was really hoping to hold the church to the authority of Scripture.
Yeah.
And the mission of the church was just go to make disciples.
Because that wasn't happening at a larger scale of the denomination.
No, the denomination was getting all involved in stuff that really didn't matter and was, in some cases, wrong.
Yeah.
And so that reform movement was active, and it was a bunch of angry people. And I thought, I'm not mad about anything. I just want to get on with it.
Yeah.
And so that led to the formation of a group of people who wanted to start a new association of churches. And I was a part of that group of people. I said, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I mean, I can fight when I need to, but I don't want to do that. I want to get on with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we formed a thing called Lutheran Congregations and Mission for Christ.
Yeah. An association we are part of as a congregation.
This church joined a long time ago. And we were told it'll never last.
Yeah.
You need a bishop. You can't be a church without a bishop. And we said, we kind of think that's where it all went wrong.
Right.
Matter of fact, one of the bishops of the American Lutheran Church said about synod district presidents, if we call them bishops, they're going to start to act like it.
Yeah, well.
And that's exactly what happened. It became clergy-oriented, clergy-dominated, and further away from the local church.
Yeah.
Where I believe life is at. And the only thing that's survived for 2,000 years is the local church.
The local church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to be a part of that. And then I was there. I was in Altoona 20 years. I served the association for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I went into real estate.
There you go. A new ministry.
It was.
Yeah, yeah.
I got in front of people who had never darkened the door of a church.
Yeah, right.
And got to talk with them about prayer and faith and great, not in every case, but in many of them. It was really a neat opportunity. And then I retired from that at the end of 2024 and found our way to Sioux City.
Yeah. Well, I had the blessing of growing up in Lutheran Church of the Cross and, and under your wing.
Yes.
Somehow turned out to where I am today. And so that's good.
Yeah.
But you took a church, a group of people to excite them, to encourage them of 75 and grew it to
1,100 a weekend.
1,100 a weekend.
Yeah.
That didn't happen by accident.
Nope.
That wasn't you.
Nope.
That was the Lord at work.
Right.
But there were some things that you were faithful in, obedient in. And really what you're doing today is connecting people to ministry.
Yeah.
So talk about like throughout that journey, first at in Altoona, how you saw that kind of growth, and not just a growth in number, but discipleship, people getting involved, connecting.
You bet. Well, the first thing to acknowledge is our community was growing. And so to grow, you just had to not do things wrong.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And so
don't step on your own foot.
Right. And I'll give God all the credit for the growth. The Lord blessed us immensely. But part of what's always been in my heart is the value of the people sitting in the pew.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look out over a congregation, what I see are disciples of Jesus. And some are just beginning that journey. Some have stalled on the journey. Some have never considered the journey.
Right.
I mean, they thought it was all about being a member of a church, which is, I mean, it's not irrelevant, but pretty close.
Right. Pretty darn close.
What Jesus wanted was people to be followers of his.
Yeah.
And so I thought, so what do we do about that? Because everybody's different, right? We got some people that love to fold the newsletter.
Yeah.
But that's as valuable to the body as the people that wanted to clean the restrooms.
Yeah.
And that was as valuable to the body as those who wanted to lead Bible studies.
Right.
And that was as valuable to the body as people that wanted to evangelize. And so my hope was to figure out how I could help people figure out what God was calling them to do.
Yeah.
Help them find a way to do it, and then train and equip them, walk alongside with them as they did it.
Yeah.
And so that was the best part. So the best example was hospital visitors. I've never really been a fan of sick people.
Yeah.
I don't like to see blood outside of anybody's body.
Nope.
And so we'd have people going through dialysis, and man, it was just eye contact. I don't want to see the blood rolling.
That's right.
That's just not right. And so I went to the church council and I said, because, as a pastor in a traditional model, if you're not visiting at the hospital, you're not getting paid.
Right.
So, and people said, well, where's the pastor? How come the pastor hadn't come to visit me?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't like you because you're sick.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't
don't
quite
want to see the blood. No, yeah, that's right.
Wasn't quite that black and white, but
right.
I mean, my hospital visits were quick. I never spent more than 15 minutes. I mean, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
They're going to cut you open. I got nothing to do with that.
Nope, I'm gone. You don't want me
I'm going to pray
there.
for you and I'm gone.
Yep.
So I said, could I train hospital visitors? And they said, would you please? Because you're terrible.
That's right. You're not your gift.
And not very good at it.
Yeah.
And I can be good at it. All of us have the ability to do good in certain areas, even if it's not our preference. But
yeah.
I thought, why don't we find people that have a passion for this?
Sure.
And so I ended up with 6 people. We had a few more, but they dropped out. I had 6 people. So we had somebody at the Des Moines Metro hospitals every day of the week with people who, first of all, had been hospitalized.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what it was like to lay in that stinking bed.
Yeah, sure.
And all these people coming in, looking at you, poking at you.
Yep.
Well, that's never happened to me, so I don't know what that's really like. I can guess. And so I would go with them. We had like, I think 4 classes to teach them about what this process is all about, what it might look like, and how you ask appropriate questions and what to avoid, and how to pray with them spontaneously without a book. Because Lutherans, generally speaking, we just don't know how to pray without a book.
Yeah.
Should be portals of prayer somewhere. I'm going to do that one.
Oh, we got those.
Yeah. And so they just fell in love with what they were called to do.
Yeah.
And so I'd go with them. First of all, I show them where clergy parking is.
That's right.
You get this is the only benefit you get.
Yeah, right.
And I just, here's your business card, put it in the dash.
Yep.
And it just says hospital visitation team. And I walked with them for the first couple of weeks to go to the hospitals and help them show where people are at and how to find them. And we turned them loose. And then we would meet like every other month just to talk about it, how it was going, what questions they had. And of course, they could ask questions anytime. And I would get phone calls. Mark, I ran into this. What do I do?
Yeah.
Just run the other way.
Right, exactly. Half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we would chat on a regular basis and more formally every other month. And my day was Wednesday. So I would go to the hospital. But at the end, I got to be kind of the closer.
Yeah.
So if you're about to die...
Yeah, if you're coming into the building, then
Mark shows up.
That's right. It's not good.
So and my buddy knew that, and he was in the hospital for something minor.
Yeah.
And so I walk in the room, Larry. God, man, I am so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
And he said, "What?" And I drug it out a little longer.
You got the communion set. You got the green book. You got.
Yeah, he was mad at me.
Yeah. That's funny.
So anyway, it was fun.
But that's half the deal, isn't it? I mean, when you talk about bringing a care team along with you to train them, to equip them, you've always been about it. I grew up hearing that voice of train and equip the believers.
Right.
And so talk about that, the value in walking alongside somebody, especially for people who are passionate about something.
Yeah.
They're just afraid to step into it, and there are the barriers of feeling like they don't know enough or they don't know what the job looks like.
Right. And it can be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's as many ways to serve Jesus and the kingdom as there are people, believers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so the training and equipping may involve some other people.
Yeah.
And so it's important to have people in the congregation who are mature in their faith. And for example, we had a guy come to me after church one Saturday night, and he said, "Mark, I'm a military guy. I fly jets. And I need to know Jesus." And I said, "You need to meet Kevin because they could share in that experience."
Yeah.
And so he and Kevin became close friends and walked together, training, helping him. And finally, this guy ended up leading a small group in his house. Yeah. Actually, he built a house so that the lower level would be perfect for a small group model of ministry.
That's great.
And he led that. So it's important to have mature believers along because I can't be the only one to do it.
Yep.
But, we did spiritual gifts inventories.
Yeah.
We did all sorts of ways of helping people think about, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? And what gift has God given me?
Yeah.
Because sometimes those gifts are not quite seen.
Yeah, sure.
By yourself. You can't look in the mirror and see that gift.
So talk about that. I mean, that's the spiritual gift assessment. As you talk about that, for those who have not done that before, talk about what that process is and kind of what you find out through that.
Well, the spiritual gifts assessments are just a tool, just to help you start thinking about it. But the other two pieces of that most people don't talk about is, number one, I've got the spiritual gift assessment. It says I'm good at administration.
Yeah.
But I hate organization. So how'd that happen? Well, maybe you had something bad to eat the day before.
I think so.
Or if you took that assessment and you got fired the day before, you might answer it differently than if you got a bonus twice your salary.
Sure. Yep.
So it's just a tool. The second part of that is to take it with a grain of salt and start asking your own questions about, is this really accurate, or maybe this is? I never thought about it like that. The third step is to invite others to comment.
Yeah.
So I go to my best friend and I said, look, it says that I'm good at administration. What do you think? He said, Mark, I've really seen that in you. I said, what? Because, my preference is more just let's go out and do it, a doer.
Yep.
But nothing much happens good in a church without somebody being in charge of administering it.
Right.
And ministry is right in the middle of that word. So administration is an incredibly valuable ministry in the church. A lot of times we don't even see these people, and they might not even know they have this gift until we see it in them.
Right.
Yeah. So those three steps are really critical. So we had somebody who really loved worship, couldn't sing worth a hoot, didn't play any instruments, but they loved worship. And they said, what could I do? And I said, would you think about leading worship? They said, no. I said, well, just think about it. Yeah. We have somebody who gets up, they welcome the congregation. At some point, we do some announcements. At some point, there's prayers. And then there's a closing. How hard is that? You know how to talk.
Sure.
And they said, well, I'll think about it. And so then I had them sit in the front row. Mm-hmm. And in time, I said, why don't you just come up and do announcements? Here's these 4 things. Why don't you do that? So they did the announcement. They said, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I said, well, you did it really well. You could improve this and this and this, but in the prayers, I had no idea what you said. So you need to think through that a little bit, but I think you ought to step into this. And so we had trained 4 or 5 worship leaders. We had one guy, he came out after church one Sunday and he said, this whole spiritual gifts thing, I don't know about that, but I want to give a car away to a poor person.
Wow.
I said, well, we're a church. We're not a car dealership.
Right.
He says, well, I'm a mechanic. And I need to talk to you because you need to help me do that.
Yeah. So
I had lunch with him and I said, okay, so we got to have a team. So we had a car mechanic, we had a body guy, auto shop guy, and then we just happened to find a gal who used to work for the Iowa Department of Transportation.
Wow.
And so these 3 formed a team. We talked about the spiritual component of this car. Mm-hmm. What's this going to mean for a family? How are we going to figure out who to give it to? Because we're not a social service agency.
Right.
So we teamed up with our county and our school system. And so one Sunday we said, we need a car.
Yeah.
We need somebody to donate a car. We got a team to fix it up. The board has given them some funds to do this because they don't need to be fundraising. Mm-hmm. The board sees this as a valuable ministry. Let's give it a shot. So we had a couple cars donated. 2 of them, they were beyond repair, but one of them we thought we could make work.
Yeah.
So these 3 went at it. And the coolest part about this, and, sometimes when I tell these things, I think I made this stuff up, but I don't think I did.
That's right. Not this one.
They needed a starter motor for this. I think it was an old Mercury.
Yeah.
And he told me how much it was. And I said, well, we don't really have money for that. We've kind of spent our allotment. So do you know anybody at an auto parts store? He said, yeah, I know. So he goes to the auto parts store and he said, I need this starter motor. And the guy said, well, what do you need a starter motor for that old car? And he says, well, we're rebuilding this car. We're going to give it away for our family that can't afford a car.
Yeah.
But they do have a license and they can afford gas and insurance. And we figured that all out with the school system and the county.
Yeah.
And the guy said, really, you're going to do that? And he said, yeah. And he said, yeah, I'll give it to you.
Wow.
So he donated starter motor.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, it wasn't like $12.
Right.
And he said, I write it off, and my company just started this. I don't care about the company. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so he donated it. I don't know if he took it out of his own pocket.
Sure.
And so we had other accounts like that. But here was a guy who was a mechanic who wanted to serve Jesus with the gifts and skills that he had.
Yeah.
And we found a way to do that. I don't know how long it lasted at the church. I left after a while, but I thought that's what this is all about, is helping people find what they're good at.
And to think that all started with one gentleman that just had a passion. He had something on his heart and said, I want to give this away.
Yeah.
And to be able to connect those dots. I don't think people see that as often as they should as ministry, as a way of serving the church and serving the community, being a blessing to the community.
Yeah, be a blessing to the community, serving the kingdom. Sometimes I think we think of church as, the membership here or this building. My mom really believed all of ministry took place in a building.
Yeah. Right.
I said, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I said to her, she was in a nursing home. I said, Mom, would you ever, I know you're a woman of prayer. I know you pray for me every day. Mm-hmm. Would you pray for the people that work here? And she goes, well, I was reading about it, that people that work in nursing homes really aren't always have a very easy life. And I said, really? Is that true? She goes, oh yeah, I hear them talking.
That's right. She knows.
And I said, well, would you ever pray for him? No. I said, why not? She goes, well, that's the pastor's job. I'll tell the pastor to come pray for him. I said, Mom, maybe it's your job. Maybe that's why God put you here. Mm-hmm. Maybe why you're a resident and your mind is sharp and you know how to pray.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I'll think about it. So I came back a couple of months later and I said, so what do you think about you praying with people? Did you think about it? She goes, I did. In my devotion this morning, she said, it's interesting you would ask. My devotion this morning says we should be praying for the people that work in nursing homes. I said, so you're going to do it? She goes, no. But I told him you would when you came.
That's right. So, hey, that was a start.
Believe it or not, I walk out the door and a woman comes up to me. Are you Martha's son? I said, yeah. She goes, she said you'd pray with me.
Hey, there you go.
And I said, well, yes. Right. And I thought, oh, come on, Mom. But, Mom was in her 90s and nobody ever told her, Mom, you have a role. You have a place in fulfilling the Great Commission.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to happen in the church building.
Sure.
Maybe it's right here in the nursing home.
Right where you're at.
Right where you're at.
People need to start thinking that way in the workplace, in their schools, and wherever they're at.
I was doing this talk about priesthood, and a woman in the front row, I was teaching at a Bible camp, and she raised her hand. She goes, well, I'm a pediatrician. Do you think that God could use my pediatric work for the kingdom? I said, what parent would not love to know that their doctor's actually praying for their child before they go in for an exam? I mean, couldn't you have on the intake form, would you like me to pray with you or your child?
Yeah.
And yes or no, and that you're not offending anybody. But if somebody says yes, I mean, I would put 18 check marks on it.
You have an opportunity to as an optional opportunity to say that I can pray for you. With what we're connecting with.
We actually had a nurse in a pre-op at one of our hospitals, and he said, what do you think about me doing that? And I said, well, why don't you just ask?
Yeah.
He was never turned down. Of all the people that were going into surgery, turned down a prayer.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, if my pre-op nurse would pray for me, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, should I be worried?
That's right. Exactly. That comes afterwards.
Who's on call? Yeah. I mean, who's cutting on me?
Yeah.
But at school, we've had teachers that learn how to have a conversation with a student when they ask. I mean, you have to be careful about it.
Yeah.
We had a guy that worked for the state of Iowa, and he was told by his manager and everybody, you have to take down any religious symbolism. Mm-hmm. None of that can be in your cubicle anymore. And he said, how are people going to know? I said, oh, man, they know you. They know your heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And they continued to come to him with concerns and prayer requests and just conversations about God.
That's good.
During their lunch hour.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, over a meal. That's good. So talk about your role here and your experience that you've had, what you're excited about here and what you're doing.
Well, I describe it as my goal, my mission here is to make it easy to get connected.
Yeah.
So here's a true story. In the last church I was at, a gal came up to me and she goes, I know you're new here, but we've been here 2 years and we don't know how to get connected. Mm-hmm. I said, you've been here 2 years? What would you like to do? We love youth. We love youth ministry. We teach Sunday school. I said, you have got to be kidding.
Yeah.
No one has asked you. Nobody's invited you. My mom knew the Bible better than any of my seminary professors. Nobody asked her to lead a Bible study.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
So my job, my mission here is to make it easy to get connected.
Yeah.
So a part of that is just, first of all, I've been here 4 weeks, figuring out what all is going on around here. And there's a lot of really good things happening.
Yeah.
Really good things. And there are some areas where we can improve. And yet, I think just helping people know what's going on and know who to contact if they're interested would be a good first step.
Yeah.
There are some things I think that we can address on more of a congregational level, and we're looking at an initiative coming up next year that I think will do that. Mm-hmm. And I'd really like to see greater involvement at night and on the weekend in Bible studies.
Yeah.
I've looked at all the Bible studies we have going.
Yeah.
If you get a full-time job, you can't do any of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
We got great Bible studies.
Which takes our congregation stepping into those roles. So small group, talk about that, because I know 20 years ago, small group dynamic was very different than it is today, maybe even with young families and the busyness of schedules and life. But the importance of what it means to be connected in a group of some form. Right. Yeah.
Well, what's the worst thing you can do to a prisoner in jail?
Isolate.
That's right. You know, you're going into isolation. What a horrible reality. We hate that.
Yeah.
But the way God designed the body of Christ, the way he designed it, it's clear from 1 Corinthians and Ephesians, we were meant to do this thing together.
Yeah.
And so if I want to grow in my relationship with Christ and my ability to serve him, I have to be connected.
Yeah.
And so that's what we want to look at ways in which people can get connected. Small group model ministry was really, I worked at a Methodist church, and you know what the method was of the Methodist church?
What's that?
Small groups.
Yeah, sure.
Unbelievable. Life together groups.
Yep.
Well, not everybody wants to get real personal and intimate with a group of other people, at least not at first. Yeah. So that small group model had some limitations, but if you start with a group of people, maybe 8 to 10, who want to study the Bible together, that is a great way into that. And my preference is that when a small group gets established, it has a beginning, middle, and an end. Right. So that if you're in a group and it really is not meeting your interest or where you think God is calling you, there's an easy out at the end of it.
Yeah.
But then you jump into another, and we can form groups based on affinity. For example, if you're a young mom and you're single, but you have 2 kids, maybe to associate with other young women who are single would be a good thing. Maybe it wouldn't be a good thing. Maybe you want to be with older adults who've been around the block. We can form these groups on any basis that people need. Yeah. And really, I think the paradigm shift is the expectation that being a follower of Jesus is more than an hour on Sunday. Mm-hmm. What are there, 164 hours in a week?
Sure.
How many of those do you spend sleeping? How many of those do you spend driving? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't there be any opportunity to get one more hour to be together in fellowship and really growing in your faith? Because that's where it happens. Yeah. You know, if you meet at somebody's house around a kitchen or dining room table, I mean, that's where real growth happens as a believer.
Emily and I think you guys could say the same, have met some of our closest friends through small group. Not going to school with them, but meeting at the church in small group. In those discussions, we've raised kids together and same age kids and still are.
And you face your battles together.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going through a battle right now in our family. It's not perfect. And to know that there are others who have and are going through the same thing is just so encouraging. But then to figure out what is God calling me to do in that, and how I can best serve my family, that only comes in conversation. Yeah. And sometimes people say stupid things. Yeah. You just have to.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do.
That's right. Just move forward.
But I discovered something in the last church. Most recently, I'd never really done a grief group before. Yeah. And but there was an individual, a woman, who said, "I'm still grieving, and I'd like some help." So we found a program to use, and the first night we were there, I thought, this is crazy. What are we going to talk about? I mean, a lot of people don't want to talk about their grief.
Yeah.
I couldn't get them to be quiet. It was like they've been waiting for a chance to meet with other people and to talk about their loss without being shunned or shut up or pushed aside or changed the topic. They were just waiting for that chance. And it was such a healing process. And so breaking this down, and Jesus always got more personal. Yeah. I mean, he fed 5,000 and then 4,000. He preached to thousands in the Beatitudes, and we know that. Yep. But how many did he invest in his life in?
Right.
How many?
Is 12.
12. Mm-hmm. One of them committed suicide, so even his small group wasn't perfect.
That's right. No, it wasn't.
Betrayed him, but of those 12, how many did he invest in more personally?
3.
Peter, James, and John. Yeah. And only one of them was called the beloved disciple. Yeah. So Jesus always getting more personal.
Yeah.
And he wants us to be able to do that, to find a place where we can do that. So in the years to come, we are going to work hard at changing this paradigm that church is more than an hour on Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in serving. Maybe there's a team that you want to be a part of, Sunday school teacher. Maybe you want to be in leadership that only comes through invitation or nomination. Maybe you want to join a bit larger group like the choir or some of the events that we have going where there's more than 30 people there and you can hide if you want, but it's a way to kind of step in, test the waters. Maybe you're ready for a smaller group. I had somebody talk to the other night. She said, I'm sitting here while my kids are in youth group, and I said, well, would you like to get the other parents who are sitting here? And she goes, yeah, I would. I'm looking for something more.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna meet with her and talk about a pilot program for parents of students on Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday night? Yeah, absolutely.
Now we just got to find a place where we can meet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Your office, I think, is available on those nights.
Your office is available.
Or mine, too. That's right. Yeah, I think that can be one of the barriers, too, though, of getting into a small group. I've heard we've got a men's group that I meet with, which is great. And some of them have never been to a small group before. And I think a barrier first was I don't know much about the Bible. I don't know what to say. Yeah. And so what would you say to those who are they're thinking about that, but they just can't pass that barrier? I'm not the smartest in the room. I don't know the Bible as well. Right. How to break down that barrier?
Well, part of it is establishing an expectation that this is going to be a part of your life. Yeah. So that's a paradigm shift, right? And so that comes from the pulpit. Yeah. And you do a great job of that. But that's part of the process. Yep. And then it's a personal invitation. Like this gal, I don't think she's ever been in a Bible study, never been in a smaller setting. So I'm going to call her and say, look, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Because I'm not going to do it if you don't show up.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you've raised this as a concern. We want to do whatever we can to make this happen. Yeah. Will you be a part of it? And if she says no, I'll say, okay, then we're going to wait until God raises up somebody to do that. Yeah. I mean, that's a part of it too. It's about the right timing, and the Holy Spirit's in charge of that.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'll make the invitation.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we're excited to have you on board, Mark, and to hear a little more of your passion and interest and vision over the ministries that you oversee. So thank you for talking.
I am grateful to be here. Yeah. And I'm just learning how grateful I am. But we've been here 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Yeah. And worked here 4 weeks. Yeah. And so my wife says, don't unload everything right now. Just take your time.
Yeah, take your time. That's right. And you're in the new member class. So
I am. We're
great
joining.
To have you guys as new members and new staff. So
that's right.
So
it's all good. Yeah, we're excited to be here.
Good.
Thanks for listening today to our Faith, Relationship, and Community podcast. For more episodes, check out our website, morningsidelutheran.com, or on our social media platforms. We appreciate you joining. God bless.